Breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. Stetson Bennett ain't going nowhere. Staying in Athens, he will return for his final season, looking to lead Georgia to back-to-back natties. But before we get ahead of ourselves, Georgia won a national championship for the first time since 1980, thanks in part to Stetson Bennett. Threw for a couple of touchdowns, 224 yards in the big game against Alabama, as you see Stetson Bennett's Instagram post. One more year. Let's roll in Athens, looking to lead the Dogs to back-to-back national titles. Meantime, JT Daniels has entered the transfer portal. And if you remember, he transferred to Georgia from USC. He was looking to become the QB1 in Athens. Instead, he got injured. Stetson Bennett took the opportunity and ultimately led Georgia to a national championship. All right, welcome in the host of the Cover 3 podcast, Chip Patterson, CBS Sports HQ college football analyst. Chip, your reaction here, Stetson Bennett coming back to Georgia. Not really much of a doubt, though, for the kid that just led them to a national championship.
Sure, we can apply some common sense here, but there's also an idea that Stetson Bennett might have wanted to sell high. Not only does he have that national championship ring, but it was a really strong season for Stetson Bennett. In terms of the overall number of yards, no, he's not chasing down Bailey Zappi, but Stetson Bennett was top 5 nationally in quarterback rating. Stetson Bennett was top 5 nationally in terms of yards per attempt. So again, not filling up the stat sheet like a C.J. Stroud, like some of these other quarterbacks throughout college football. But in terms of efficiency, he was very, very good. And I think that his decision to come back, certainly there is the common sense, oh, you're going to be the man in Athens forever. But I think that there's got to be a lot of confidence that he has built up with the offensive coordinator in Todd Monken and with some of the younger players on this Georgia team who are all going to be back, like you said, trying to defend the belt against Alabama and the rest of college football.
All right, so Stetson Bennett staying put, coming back to Athens, wants to run it back. Meantime, JT Daniels, which is a lot like a lot of other kids around the country. They're not getting playing time. They're not getting opportunities. They're jumping in the transfer portal. What's your reaction? Probably not surprised here with JT Daniels. What perhaps is his next destination? We already saw him transfer from USC to Georgia. Now we've got another stop.
Listen, JT Daniels, if healthy, as he was at the end of the 2020 season, that is the kind of potential where we think Daniels can be the 5-star that he was as a prospect. But there's also been a lot of college football, and staying healthy has been a little bit of an issue. He was not the starting quarterback as we did expect for the Bulldogs this year. So I think that JT Daniels, when healthy, has a ceiling of being a first-round NFL draft pick. However, we have not seen that across a 12, 13-game season. So the number one goal for JT Daniels is to make sure that you are in a place physically where you're going to be able to go out and perform at that level across an entire season. I think that there might have been some aspect of this 2021 season where once Stetson Bennett got the Bulldogs off and rolling, you didn't want to mess with the chemistry. You liked what he was able to do in terms of accomplishing your goals. But I think these two announcements coming right after each other, Hakeem, is very significant because it means that Stetson Bennett has confidence that he is going to start as the man to beat for the job. And JT Daniels, obviously aware of this as well, has decided that he's going to seek other opportunities elsewhere.
Chip, give me a couple schools perhaps maybe in the mix right now that you could see JT Daniels ending up at.
I haven't done my roster management here, but we're talking about a West Coast kid. So you're immediately going to try to connect him to places where he might be able to go see the field. I mean, we've already got Bo Nix at Oregon. Jaden Daniels is back for another year at Arizona State. At UCLA, we've got Dorian Thompson-Robinson back. There is a player in the transfer portal that might be headed to USC. I don't know. Maybe if Lincoln Riley is the coach, that's significant. But you start to look at the different spots where he could land. I don't think that JT Daniels is going to end up landing necessarily and displacing a starting quarterback. I think it's going to be the kind of situation where maybe you're bringing in JT Daniels for depth. Maybe you're bringing in JT Daniels to be a bridge quarterback if you've got someone a little bit younger. So I would look to those situations. I would look West Coast. But we're talking about an LA guy who played his start of his career at USC, but then wound up at Georgia. So clearly clearly he's got an open mind about the entire country.
Yeah, JT Daniels still has 2 years of eligibility, so you get him for a couple seasons if he decides to ultimately stay wherever he ends up. But JT Daniels in the transfer portal, Stetson Bennett ain't going nowhere, staying in Athens as they look to defend the national championship. Chip Patterson with his insight here on HQ. Chip, thank you. And there is no offseason in college football. Join Chip Patterson and his crew, Tom Fornelli, Danny Cannell, Bud Elliott on the Cover 3 podcast, insight, analysis throughout the season, all the big offseason storylines. They take you from National Signing Day, the National Championship, and everything in between. Cover 3 podcast, download and subscribe today.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.